Hello, this is John with Pro Image Share, and I wanted to give an overview of the Lightroom plugin I've created for the web module. This Lightroom plugin allows you to build mobile stylized HTML galleries and host them for yourself on your website, so therefore no yearly fee. You just host them on the current host that you have. It would have so you just upload the files to your own server that you have and never have a hosting fee. You just pay the one time for the plugin, $69, and I plan on updating it for life. And never intend on charging an update fee as long as I can do it in HTML5 and in Lightroom. I'll add the features. We'll see one user added feature here in just a second. So inside Lightroom, you can customize it, so you can put what shows up below the icon, studio details, studio name, your web address, what you want this to link to. You have your contact information, what do you want this call to action to link to, and you can change that call to action here. You have a phone number, so a click to call inside of a mobile device, or a click to email. And then you have all the sharing stuff. So when they share it with Facebook or Twitter or email or all the sharing things we have down at the bottom, what is it going to say when it shares? So a little bit of customization there. And then by user request, we can now do a YouTube video at the bottom. And it just puts a YouTube video down here at the bottom. I'll show you on a device what that looks like here in a second. So you just put the video ID after you upload it to YouTube, not the full link, just the video ID, and it'll add that video at the bottom. And then you have the header image. So the header image is what appears up here. You can put that here. I've found that an image of 300 pixels wide, sorry, not DPI, 300 pixels wide works best inside the app. As far as when it's viewed on a mobile device, you can play around with it and see what you think, but 300 wide appears to be the best to me. Now you can change the link to that, and where other photographers have found that useful is now you can put another call to action here. Click here to become a model, and it links to your model form. And you'll still have your link to your website here, so it's just an added link, another place you can send them. Then you, just like before, we have all of the customization of all the colors, everything from the link colors to the background colors. And then what appears above the image in the swipe view, you'll have the top text up here, and that can either be a set text or a file name, or I believe day. There's a couple other parameters that you can choose inside Lightroom, but you can select that there. Get back to the full view. And then we have all of our image sizes. Now the extra large size is only used by tablets such as the iPad Retina display. But if you're planning on supporting those devices, I would crank this on up, and you can play with it and test it on the device and make sure you like it, with what you're doing. Right now I'm just trying to keep my file size downloaded. I'm just basically supporting this for mobile devices, so I've pulled that all the way down to the smallest size that Lightroom will let me put here. And then for the large size, that is the size that a mobile device like a phone would use. So I have 690, that's the correct size for an iPhone 4S, and so that's what I have here. I want my images to look best on that device, and I believe it would look just as good on any Android device as well. So that's a good size. And then for the next size down, the small size, I figured half that. That's basically, I believe, also used by tablets, but there might be some other devices that use it, but half of that seemed to be a good compromise. And then the next one down is thumbnail size. 77 is what I recommend. And then you have the overall quality slider of all of these, so you could try to compress that down if you wanted to make it smaller. What you could do is export a couple of them out to your hard drive, and when you find that right quality file size mix, then save it here and you'll never have to think about it again. You have your copyright, that's the metadata that it adds. I have it add my copyright only. And then you have the watermark. If these had not been already watermarked, I would add a watermark here, because I want credit for them, and unless they can see it on the screen, you're not really going to get credit for it. And then you have the permalink, and I moved this down to the bottom on the last update because it's very important that these match up, that the permalink match up to where you're going to put it, because if they're going to share it with any of these links down here, all they're going to do is share this web address, and if that web address is wrong, well, then they're sharing nothing. They're going to get 404 errors or whatever. So what you want to do is make sure you're self-hosted. So at your website, whatever that may be. Mine's jmbchildress.com. And then you create a folder called Gallery or Mobile or whatever you would like, but I've created one called Gallery. And then you have the final one is the folder that you're having Lightroom create inside that Gallery folder. And down here, Lightroom is telling you where it's going to put those files. Public_HTML is what represents my web page. With different hosts, that might be different. But that's where it's going, under Gallery, under Autumn Rocks, which is what it's creating here. So you can kind of double check that. And so now let's go look at it on a device so I can show you that new YouTube video down at the bottom. Let's go to it. Here it is, and it has the little, like, we'll refresh. Well, there it goes. Okay, we'll refresh. And you get the same little drop down to kind of get them to add it to, so it looks like an app. There you have the icon that I've added, and senior year is what I had put in there on Lightroom. Add it, and it adds the icon to their screen, and then when they click on it, it just takes them back. Now these files are being downloaded by the device, so they will be available offline, or should be available as long as they have downloaded them all. Then we have down at the bottom, we also have the YouTube link, so you can click on that and it will play the YouTube video. Now the downloading of the files, it does require some setup on your server, but anyone can set it up on any host server. It's basically, you need to make sure your server can serve up files that are basically a list of the files that are on your site. So if you buy the plugin, I'll be glad to help you with setting that up if you want to make sure they download to the device. Then that's pretty much it. So for $69, you can build and host as many of these web-styled apps as you would like. I don't ever plan on charging a update fee, so I plan on continuing to update this. And if you have any other requests, like the YouTube video, which was a great idea, send them on to me. If I could integrate them inside the confounds of Lightroom, there are some things you just can't do, and if they're supported by HTML5, I'll be glad to look at adding them. Thanks, and I hope to talk to you soon. Send me any questions to john@proimageshare.com. Thanks. Bye.